When I was in university, I had a dream. I dreamt about getting a master's in informatics to bridge the gap between healthcare and technology. But then the pandemic happened and I no longer wanted to be in healthcare. So I tried to chase another dream to become an entrepreneur, and I did everything to be one. I took online courses, I attended mentorships, and listened to countless gurus online. I tried to become a digital nomad that so many people swore by. But at the end of the day, I still didn't feel happy. So one day I decided to stop chasing my dreams. I decided to do something different. I decided to follow my curiosity, and this is what happened. So I'm currently doing my travel nursing in Nova Scotia, Canada. And I never thought that I would actually get fulfillment from doing this job. It wasn't my dream to become a travel nurse, but it was something I became curious about as I became very doubtful of my position in the nursing industry. And after doing travel nursing for almost a year now and actually enjoying the work, that's when I realized that what's meant for you will come to you. This is just my reminder to you that you don't need to be chasing things that you believe that you want, or maybe what you see others are doing and you believe that you want those things too. By simply following your curiosity, you can actually find the things or learn the things that actually make you fulfilled, which I think personally it's a little bit harder when you're just going go, 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 following and chasing your dreams. So when you chase your dreams, you might be following something that's called thin desires. And this was coined by the author Lake Burgess. And basically it means that your desires are mimetic. You want what you want because other people want it, or you're influenced by it, whether it's subconscious or not. And for the longest time, I've been running on thin desires. I wanted to do informatics because that's what everyone was doing in the emergency department. And I wanted to become a travel nurse because that's what everyone was doing in social media. And I wanted to become an online entrepreneur because that's what everyone was doing on social media. So these desires were basically thin desires because they didn't really come from my being. It came from because I saw others doing them, and I've gathered some sort of belief or perception that to be valued in a society, you need to be able to be doing these things. But when I followed my own curiosity, that's when I was able to come up with thick desires, which is the opposite of thin desires. And these desires are the ones that come from your core, from figuring out your values, your identity, the things that excite you. And these are things that you want because it makes you feel alive, it brings your soul alive, and it's not because you're trying to prove something from other people, which I feel like a lot of us are doing. Just to give you an example of what my thick desires are, for example, starting a YouTube channel. It's not because I want to make money or I want to have some sort of status, but I've started a YouTube channel because I genuinely believe of helping others with their mindset, and that's why I want to make this happen. I want to make this work. So even though it's very hard, extremely difficult to make it in this platform, I'm still putting in the work because it's a thick desire. It's not just because I saw someone do it and it was so cool. Even though at the beginning that might have been the initial desire or initial goal, but deep down, it was really about figuring out what's important to me and then aligning that with the actions that I want. I really hope this makes sense. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you won't really know what you truly want until you stop looking around and chasing your dreams or figuring out what others are doing, and actually you start looking inwards. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's cheesy for a reason. It's because it works. So when you're deciding whether you want to pursue your so-called dreams, I'd really encourage you to ask yourself, is this a thin desire or a thick desire? So ever since I became a travel nurse, I started coming up with a different dream. I thought, oh, now that I'm a travel nurse, maybe I can start doing travel nursing in the US, or maybe I can become a staff nurse in the US and I can make so much more money. But because I'm working on my self-awareness, I know that these are nothing but thin desires. I already know that being a travel nurse in Canada is great. Just for transparency, when I was a staff nurse, I used to make about $35 per hour, and now I make about $100 $10 per hour doing travel nursing assignments in Ontario and now in Nova Scotia. So even though it's so tempting to work in the US as a travel nurse or even just as a permanent staff, I think that following my curiosity helps me ground into what is enough. It's enough that I work about 6 months of the year and I get to pursue the things I truly want on the side, whether that's traveling and making videos or writing and all these things that I wouldn't be able to do if I were to continue my other job. And when you know what's enough for you, you can say no to other things so that you can actually spend more time on things that actually matter to you, whether that's traveling across the world or actually being a homebody and just spending chill weekends and not doing anything. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, that you choose what to spend your time on. Personally, there are 3 things that I actually did to follow my curiosity, and I'm sure you've heard about all of them, so I'm just gonna breeze through all of them. Number 1, digital detox. If you are in the self-help world of YouTube, welcome. I'm sure you've heard about digital detox.
The digital detox.
A digital detox.
A digital detox.
A digital detox.
But if you haven't, digital detox means taking time off social media. All of these for a very specific of time. So you can do 7 days, 1 month, 3 months. Lots of people are doing 1 year. I personally did a 4-month digital detox, and that's really when I started to figure out the things that I really like to do. So during my digital detox, I stumbled upon writing, yoga, reading, and all these activities that makes me feel in flow. And if you want to get into the creative world, being in flow is something that you will learn about, and that just basically means it's when your world stops, the time stops, and everything's great, and it's the right thing that you need to be doing in life or in just your spare time. You don't need to make it a little bit complicated than that, but basically digital detox is one actionable step I have for you. The goal of being in a digital detox is asking yourself, what do I want to do without the influence of others? That's it, and you're gonna find out a lot of stuff. The second thing I did was hiring a life coach, but hiring a life coach can be expensive and maybe you're skeptical about it, so I'm not gonna tell you to do that. What I'm gonna tell you is to journal, journal, journal. Again, it's very common in the self-help world. When I got a life coach, I was so confused about who I was. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to go next. And when I went through the life coaching program, I did a lot of journaling. So I got to answer questions like, what do you want? Why do you want what you want? What's holding you back in life? And all these things that you're not going to figure out just by thinking about it. You actually have to journal about it. And the whole point of this is that when you're figuring out what you're curious about, and let's say you're curious about starting a YouTube channel, becoming a writer, or becoming an artist, and the more you know the reason for what you're doing, the less likely you'll give up on it. Because when you don't know the path that's in front of you, it's going to be hard. There's going to be so many challenges. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You don't know. There's so many uncertainties that you need to almost have a toolkit or a reasoning or an anchor for what you're doing. It's because it's a hard journey. It's a hard journey to be on. So if you're not anchored to the reasoning or the why of what you're doing, it's going to be hard to show up. It's going to be not worth it. So even though it might be worth to show up, you might end up self-sabotaging yourself because you don't know what your reason for what you're doing. And in this age that we're in, there are so many distractions. There are so many social media platforms. So when you're trying to follow your curiosity and you want to, let's say, stick to something that you truly want, you're not going to be easily distracted by it because you're so anchored to what you actually want. So especially if you're in this journey where you don't know what's next for you, you need an anchor. You need something that will kind of help you stay the path of this uncertainty, no matter how hard it is. So if you haven't been journaling at all, now is the time to start, especially if you want to learn how to follow your curiosity and actually figure out what is meant for you or what is it that you want to do in life. And lastly, you have to get out of your comfort zone. When you become curious about something, actually do something about it. If you're curious about content creation, about starting a business, or doing anything else that kind of sparks joy inside of you, Google something about it, buy the equipment, actually figure it out. You have to give yourself credit that you can actually get things done. Go do things that you're curious about, even if they make you feel uncomfortable, and do them for a very, very long time. You're not going to feel passionate about something on the first day. I've been doing YouTube for more than a year now, and I'm just started to become passionate about it because now is the time I'm actually learning, and I'm actually becoming more confident showing up in front of camera, scripting, and setting up my stupid, fancy, expensive camera. I did not wake up 2 years ago thinking I'm passionate about YouTube. That's not what happened. You become passionate about the things that you actually put in time and effort to. Anyways, I don't know if this is all because I'm just starting to become older and I'm becoming tired and I don't want to chase my dreams. I just want things to come to me and attract good things. But either way, let me know if you have any experience when it comes to chasing your dreams, or if you're getting tired of chasing your dreams too. And I really hope that this video has resonated with you, that you be kind to yourself and take it one day at a time. Bye.